In a 2013 Channel 4 news debate, people from both people who were for and against the wearing of the burqa gathered together to discuss the question, should the niqab be worn in Britain? And at one point in the debate, one of the leading speakers posed the question to one of the supporters of the issue and said to her, surely that there could be an issue that if men don't cover their faces, that could be an issue. And if that could be an issue, why therefore are men in the religion not instructed to cover their faces in the way that women are? It's kind of asking the question that if the idea of attraction and lust can go both ways, why is there an asymmetry in the religion that women are expected to cover more than men are? But this is where the issue, where people who live through an absolutist equality lens, which is very common in a Western moral tradition that treats everything the same, that thinks that everything should be exactly the same. But this is where the idea of fairness, the logic of fairness, steps in, because that's two very different things. For example, in a hospital organization, only a very small amount of people are able to perform heart surgery. For example, the cleaner does not perform heart surgery. There are two different groups of people, and that's not equal. They both don't get the chance to do the exact same thing, but it's based off the fairness of according to their competencies and abilities. This would apply in the same way to this issue. There is evidence from psychology and endocrinology that on average men report higher baseline sexual desire linked to testosterone. Men are more visually responsive and also more likely than women to pursue short-term sexual interest in women who they have no long-term interest in. Women's attraction often tends to be much more situational and contextual and less purely visual than men. So the difference is in degree and expression, which explains why the framework is laid out for women to have the expectation to cover more than men in the religion. But this does not mean that men are without their own respective expectation to lower their gaze and dress according to a modest standard. In this way, it is actually the seeming imbalance that can bring balance to a social harmony.